Today, let's talk about some of the best high and low tech accessibility products for people who are blind or low vision. Magnifiers, CCTVs, smart glasses, and more. But since I am no expert in low vision tech, I am delighted to welcome one of my favorite tech YouTubers who I've been watching for over a decade. Sam from The Blind Life is here to tell us about his 2026 accessible tech picks. If you aren't familiar with Sam's work, he is one of the OG low vision YouTubers, having created content for the last 12 years. He also works for a nonprofit helping people access and learn their assistive technologies. Having grown up losing his vision to Stargardt's disease, he brings a wealth of professional and personal experience to our conversation. If you want to check out Sam's content or any of the tech that we're talking about today, everything is linked below. Let's welcome Sam. Thank you so much for joining me, Sam. It is an absolute pleasure to finally be able to chat with you today. You are the tech expert here on YouTube. So I'm very excited to get to talk blind, low vision tech with you. You know everyone and everything. What are Sam's must-haves?
I think you built it up. I don't know. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Really excited to sit down and chat with you. As you know, as you're well aware, technology is very goal specific.
Yes.
I get this question all the time. It's usually phrased as something like, I have retinitis pigmentosa. What's going to work well for me? Or, I have my grandfather needs smart glasses. What's going to work well for him? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Right.
It's because you haven't given me enough information.
Let's maybe start in the stand magnifiers or handheld magnifiers category. So presumably for somebody who has more remaining vision, might need it for daily tasks or reading print. Is there one or a couple that stand out to you as particularly amazing right now?
So whenever I'm working with a client, I always start out at the very bottom. I have a 3.5 magnifier that I usually start out with, because I'm assuming that if they're coming to see me, then a 1 times magnifier or a 2 times, that's not going to be good enough. So we start out with a 3.5 and then we work our way up, because I want people to know what level of magnification works for them, is the best level for them specifically. Because once you know that, then everything else is easy. Like, you can decide, do I want a round magnifier? Do I want a rectangle? Do I want one with a light? Not a light, one that stands, one that I hold, one that folds up. All of that is secondary to finding out what type of magnification you need. If we are talking about brands, I'm a big fan of Eschenbach. I've been using Eschenbach. In fact, where's my Eschenbach? It's around here somewhere. I've been using Eschenbach since I was probably in my 20s. And most of the magnifiers that I recommend to people in my office are Eschenbachs, because I refer them as the Mercedes of magnifiers. Because that old adage of you get what you pay for, it truly does apply to magnifiers.
Right tool for the right job, right?
Yeah.
If it's something that you need all day, every day, it's worth not getting the dollar store equivalent. And Eschenbach, are there any special features that the Eschenbach has, lighting, fold up, or are there multiple different models that might meet someone's needs that you think stand out?
Yes, no, they have a wide variety of styles. I use a little pocket loop style, so it kind of folds up. It does have a light, because I always say lighting is crucial for low vision. For most, generally, painting a broad brush here, lighting helps tremendously. But they have small pocket ones, they have handheld ones, they have larger ones. They have a pretty wide variety. And then they do get into the electronics, which we're going to talk about here in a second. If I had to discourage one type of magnifier, discourage people away from one type of magnifier, it would be the sheet magnifiers. I know we've talked about sheet magnifiers and they do have their place, but for the most part, it suffers from they're not very strong. They tend to be very poor, weak magnification, because it's not true magnification. It's this kind of pseudo magnification. The technology is actually called a Fresnel lens, and it uses these grooves in the plastic to kind of warp the light, bend the light to simulate magnification.
What kind of end user would you recommend? Hey, yeah, just use your smartphone as a magnifier. Just use the camera in your smartphone versus something that has all of these extra bells and whistles. Is there a particular type of end user that would want that?
Yeah, so that's a very good point. My first thing I'll mention is that smartphones and tablets are fantastic. In fact, when people ask me what's the most important assistive technology device we have, often I will say a smartphone because it can do so many things that are extremely helpful for us in our community. But I always say it can do a lot of things really well, but it can't do any one thing as well as a device that was built specifically for that task. But I'm also a big believer in budget is should be one of the primary concerns that people think about when they're thinking about these types of things. And if you can't afford a $3,000 CCTV, it doesn't matter how amazing it is, you can't afford it. So we look at other alternatives, and simply using your smartphone, simply buying a $20 tablet stand on Amazon and using your iPad or your Android tablet as a makeshift CCTV, it works great. The only downside, though, is especially someone who is more profoundly low vision, like myself, those small little cell phone screens just aren't big enough for me. I magnify it big enough for me to see it, then I'm only looking at maybe 2 or 3 letters at a time. So I need a much larger screen personally.
2 or 3 letters does not make for efficient reading.
No, it's very slow reading.
And in the digital space, is there one brand that stands out right now? Or is it very hyper specific to, do you need that distance and close up? Do you need a large screen? Do you need and it's a different company each time that you'd recommend?
I am a big fan, though, of the Clover line of digital magnifiers. I believe that IRI-AT is the only company here in the States that are selling the Clover line. And they're the national distributor, and they work with some smaller distributors. But the Cloverbook Pro is still my favorite portable video magnifier for like students and business professionals, things like that. There's a brand new video magnifier in the Clover line that the screen can even rotate into portrait mode, and you can plug your phone up to it, and it has a touch screen. So you can actually control your phone through the touch screen. And so you have this giant phone screen right in front of you, essentially, and it's amazing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, super, super cool. So definitely, if anybody's interested, the Clover line of video magnifiers.
I want to add links for all of these products down below. So if you think that one of these things that we're recommending is right for you, I'll try and have links to everything we chat about today down below. You can just check it out either in a pinned comment or in the description. Next, I wanted to talk about magnification glasses. Maybe not necessarily smart glasses, because I want to get to that in a little bit, but magnification glasses. This is an area that I am not familiar with whatsoever. Are there specific glasses that do distance magnification? I know I've seen quite a few reviews on your channel over the last few years that stand out to you or that you think really work well for end users.
Yes. So here for this, we have to break it down further into 2 subgroups. We have the non-electronic and then the electronic distance glasses. So the non-electronic, it's kind of more old school technology. You can think of bioptics that some people might use for driving. Those are specifically made for driving, those types of glasses, but they also have just regular binocular glasses. You can also think of the Eschenbach has a type of binocular glasses. I believe they're called the Max TV glasses. And so these are great. But once again, if your vision is to a certain level, they're going to be much less useful for you, mainly because The way binoculars work is, you have a small lens that you're looking through, and then ideally you have a much larger lens at the end that is letting all that light in. And the larger the lens, the more light can come in, the brighter the image, the more you can see it. Well, unfortunately, with things like monoculars and these binocular type glasses, they're very small lenses. So they tend to be very dim, the image. And once again, a lot of us, we have a inability to take in light is our part of our eye condition. And so we need bright images. So they don't tend to work for a lot of people. Every now and then you might get lucky and they will. A lot of people will use them for watching television, sitting on their couch across the room and being able to see the TV. And for them, it works great.
Is there one or two brands in that electronic VR space that stands out to you?
Yeah, so I really like the Patriot Viewpoint. It's from Patriot Industries. They're based in Ocala, Florida. It's using a Samsung smartphone with a Samsung Gear VR headset. Now, it's a standalone assistive technology device. You cannot use it as a phone. You can't put apps on the phone or anything like that. It's only used for this particular thing. But there's another one, a brand new one that just came out maybe 2 years ago called Maggie IVR. And it's actually using an iPhone. They use either an iPhone 15 Pro or an iPhone 16 Pro. They might even be up to the 17 Pro now. But the nice thing about Maggie is you can pop that phone out and then just use it as a regular phone. It's a completely unlocked iPhone. You can put apps on it. You can watch movies, music, whatever you want to do. And then whenever you need that vision aid, you just pop it into the headset and it turns into an assistive device. It's pretty cool.
That's very cool. I like that you don't have to have a separate device, and it works. If you are already on the Apple ecosystem, you can use your phone.
Nice thing too is that if you already own one of those phones, then you can save about $1,000 and just get the headset. They have that option as well.
Are there any other topics that we haven't covered in the tech space that you are dying to talk about?
We have some pretty impressive new Braille, refreshable Braille displays, tactile graphic displays that have recently come out that are worth mentioning. The Monarch is the big one that everybody's kind of going crazy about.
I definitely heard about that. My jaw hit the floor when I saw the price tag.
Yes. It is definitely going to be aimed primarily towards schools and governments paying for this. I think it's like 15 grand or something like that. But it's cool. It's a full tactile graphics display. So it's a full computer and can render, I don't know how many pins it has, but full size tactile graphics. Pretty cool. There's another one that's much more affordable from Dot, and it is the Dot Pad. It's pretty good. It's a refreshable Braille display, so it is not a computer. It just connects to another device and acts as a Braille display, but it can render full tactile graphics.
Really?
I think it has 300 pins, I believe, or something like that.
Does it have offline note-taking capabilities, or is it strictly as Braille display?
Strictly Braille display. The Dot Pad is strictly Braille display. The Monarch, yes, the Monarch does have note-taking.
It's very exciting seeing where tech has come from in my 30-some-odd years and how much it has improved and what has changed even in the last 5 years and what we can expect in the next 10 or 15. It's a completely different landscape than what I grew up with as low vision tech, as blind tech when I was a kid. So it's a great time to be blind or low vision. There are so many options for so many different people. And I really have to thank you, Sam. We have rambled on for a long, long time. You've given a lot of fantastic advice. I'm hoping people can check out some of these devices and see if it works for them. But thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge and taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come and chat with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure, Tamara. It was an honor.
Well, thank you.